Welcome to the Riverside Unified School District's Board of Trustees, Board of Education meeting. We will start the night with the Arlington High School Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll call the meeting to order. We've just returned from a closed session. Could you stay right there for just a moment? We did take an action in our closed session, the hiring of an elementary school principal at Tomas Rivera. And I think Mr. Cuellar is in the audience. Is he? Where is he? Mr. Wilson Cuellar, welcome. Comes to us from Beaumont, and he was unanimously approved by the board. Thank you. Now I'm going to let Mrs. Cloud introduce us to our pledge ambassador.
Okay, this is Selah Akwankwo, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. She's a sixth grade student at Bryant Elementary School. She transferred to Bryant from outside the school district for the Core Knowledge program 3 years ago. Every day, her parents drive from San Jacinto to drop her and her third grade brother and then continue on to Redlands to work. Thank you for your commitment. Selah says she loves the Core Knowledge program at Bryant, especially the arts and music class. She enjoys acting in our after-school theater arts program and one day may like to do this professionally. Her favorite artist is Vincent van Gogh. She particularly likes the Starry Night painting. Another part of Core Knowledge Selah enjoys is reading and studying classic novels like Little Women, The Secret Garden, and The Iliad. Some of my favorites, too. Her older brother didn't read those books until high school. Her favorite subject is science, and in fourth grade she earned first place in both the school and district science fair and placed third at the county level. This year she placed second at the school science fair. Selah is an example to other students exhibiting our core virtues, and she also serves as our student council vice president. Welcome, Selah. Would you like to introduce your family and your principal and anybody else you know in the audience?
I have with me my mother, Melinda, my younger brother, Jaden, my father, Tab, and my principal, Miss Nelson.
And if you wait there just a moment, we have a certificate. And go ahead, you can give her a big hand. You can't take pictures that way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. And you are welcome to stay for the board meeting, although I'm sure you have other things to do. You're welcome to leave as well. We won't be offended. But, well, I love hearing about all the great things our USD students do. They sure make me feel like I was just inferior as a sixth grader, I'll tell you. Congratulations, Mom and Dad. She's a wonderful, wonderful girl. Thank you, Mrs. Nelson. Ms. Nelson, sorry. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to our, we have a board performance tonight. I forgot. We have an opera singer, I believe. From Ramona High School, we have our arts magnet, Caitlin Kenzie is, and let's see who else. Olivia Martinez will perform for the Board of Education. I'm not sure which one's Caitlin and which one's Olivia. So. And did I pronounce that? Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Rhonda Barnes. I'm the department chair, and I'm so gracious to be able to be the magnet coordinator at Ramona High School, where we've gone from 30 to 100, close to 150 people in just 2 years. We're very excited about that. We brought Katie here today. She's been playing piano for 11 years. She accompanied almost all the senior recital, and our road was ever on recently. She's part of drumline and band and dance, and she actually is 5th in her class.
Wow.
And she also just got the lead in the musical playing Adelaide in Guys and Dolls.
Yay.
That's in her second year, and she's been singing for a long time. She is from the LA County Spotlight Award. She was a semifinalist. And Katie also, by the way, she just competed. We haven't heard the results yet, but she played amazingly. And Olivia is also one of our leads for Guys and Dolls, playing Sarah, coming up in May 7th and 8th, so hopefully you can attend that. So this is Olivia.
Thank you.
girls, can you come back?
All those song selections? Mine was the Nation Boat song.
By.
I believe it was.
It's very pretty. Sorry. Oh, it's okay. I liked it.
And then yours, Olivia?
Mine is Isiba by Gabriel Faye.
It's very
It was by Felix Mendelssohn. That's who it was.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, Erin. Can we let them know? We'll keep going. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that was a really nice way to start our meeting.
Do we have to go forward?
I know. It was beautiful. Really nice. Good job.
Pretty amazing.
Amy. Nice to see our performing arts magnet doing well and producing such talent. The next part of our agenda is our reports by our high school representatives. I see Raisha there from Martin Luther King. Come on down, Raisha. Let us know what's going on at Martin Luther King.
Good evening, Mrs. Locke-Dawson and honorable members of the board. So though February was a short month, it was still jam-packed with events at King High School. We were able to kick off February with our Mad Tea Party Midwinter and Kindness Week, which I told you guys a little bit about last board meeting. And both of these events were a huge success. This season, King High School sports teams have seen great success also. Girls water polo and girls soccer competed in CIF, and girls basketball and boys soccer reached CIF quarterfinals, which is a huge accomplishment. And boys basketball is continuing on to CIF semifinals, which is actually tomorrow, and we're really excited to go to the game and show our support. Boys wrestling also had 2 CIF champions this year, and 4 wrestlers qualified for state championships, which is coming up this weekend in Bakersfield. King High School DECA chapter attended the State Career Development Conference in Anaheim this month, and 10 students placed and will be moving on to international competition in Atlanta, Georgia in May. The state conference was attended by over 3,000 students, and the Outstanding Advisor of the Year award this year went to Mrs. Debbie Blue, who is King High School's advisor, so that was great. And then the Outstanding Student of the Year also went to our chapter president, which is Jessica Chowie, so it was a really great accomplishment for King High School in DECA this year. I lost my spot. Okay. The Party at the Plaza event this year was also a great way for King High School to represent itself in the community and showcase all we have to offer. At the event, we were able to launch our very own iPad app that we have created, and this app includes all of the information about upcoming events and programs we have to offer and is available for download in the App Store now for free. King High School also began preparing for our big King High Remembers event that's coming up on March 21st, and this annual event allows juniors who are taking U.S. history to interview a veteran firsthand and write a biography on one. And this is an event that allows students to honor those who have served our country while learning history at the same time, and King High School students look forward to it every year. In academics, King High School Science Olympiad team placed at 3rd place overall, and they'll be moving on to the state competition. And King Mockchild advanced to the final round of competition, where they placed 2nd place in county. Additionally, students have been meeting with counselors and planning for their future by selecting classes for the upcoming year individually. And King High School has also had a really great turnout at our LCAP meeting, and parents, students, and faculty are very excited about the process. Also, KC testing is quickly approaching, and we are preparing students by encouraging positive results with our rock and roll theme with the slogan, rock those tests, roll in those scores. And finally, the Wolfpack players are presenting a musical. A funny thing happened on the way to the forum this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So it would be great if you guys were able to go out to that. That's all I have today. It's great to be king. Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Where is the game, the basketball game for the boys, is that at Paris or at King?
It's at Paris.
It's at Paris. All right, great.
Thank you, Raisha.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Up next, Karen Cedillo from Lincoln High School. Welcome, Karen.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay. Just tell me when you guys are ready.
We're ready.
Okay. Good morning. Oh, good morning. Sorry. Good evening, Ms. Slack Dawson, Mr. Fine, and members of the board. Cash for College workshop was held at Lincoln site February 11, 2014 from 4 to 7. The purpose of the workshop was to assist students and parents with completing the free application for student aid and Cal Grant Online. Students received free help in completing the FAFSA to meet the March 3rd deadline. Their names were placed in a drawing and randomly selected to win a $1,000 scholarship. Calls were made home and letters were sent home to inform parents of this opportunity. The workshop was also open to the community, and a Spanish interpreter was provided. On February 12, 2014, Lincoln Monthly Lunchtime Awards were held in recognition of students for their perfect attendance and academic achievements. The goal is to motivate students to do well in classrooms and attend school regularly. Riverside Community College Completion Counts Workshop will be held March 13th from 6 to 8 at Lincoln High School. Topic of discussion will tell how students can go to RCC and be granted a transfer to a four-year college after 2 years. It's an open event. Anybody in the community is welcome to join us. Our sophomores and seniors are diligently preparing the upcoming cases scheduled for March 18th through the 19th. Administration and faculty is looking forward to each student passing the exam on their first attempt. Our leadership team has provided students with incentives and encouraging them to do their very best. Good luck to our sophomores. Ms. Elisa Garcia has been selected as a Teacher of the Year for 2013 to 2014 school year. Ms. Garcia came to us from Beatty Elementary and was taught fine arts at Lincoln for the last 2 years. She is caring, creative, and always willing to go the extra mile to help students. Ms. Garcia is well respected by both students and staff. We all are very proud of her achievements. Once again, thank you for this opportunity. Are there any questions? Respectfully, Karen Cedillo.
Anybody have any questions? No? Thank you. You did a very fine job this morning. Just kidding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Garrett from Arlington. Hi, Garrett.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good evening, respected members of the board. Let's get started. In the area of activities, on March 7th, 2014, Arlington held the Winter Pep Rally, acknowledging winter sports. Performances included cheer, dance team, and BSU. On the topic of BSU, last month, the Black Student Union acknowledged Black History Month by posting motivational quotes around campus from critical social activists of the civil rights movement. Moving on. Arlington's ASB looks forward to working alongside King's ASB in the event Relay for Life. Relay for Life will be held on April 26, 2014. Efforts and proceeds will benefit cancer research and raise awareness. The Senior Choir Showcase, an event held on February 25th, was made available to seniors of choir, and it maybe have been one of the last chances for these seniors to perform together. On February 22nd, Arlington had the Party at the Plaza. RUSD high schools presented attractive programs unique to their school in an effort to help middle school students make their decision as to which high school they will attend. AHS took advantage of the opportunity by highlighting stellar programs such as the Media Arts Academy, cheer, theater, ROTC, and other academic programs. Also, dancing with the staff was a huge event. Teacher Ms. Salcido and student/dancer Lance Barber placed first in the competition. Over 30 teachers and students performed routines and competed for the first place prize. All funds will go toward Arlington's dance team to fund their pursuit for a national title. Arlington will also host Lion Pride Night, where 8th grade students and prospective parents can come explore the academics, sports, clubs, and organizations that Arlington has to offer. Moving on, in the area of athletics, Boys basketball competed in their first round of CIF on Tuesday, February 25th, 2014, where they broke their tie with a three-pointer as the buzzer sounded. Later tweeted on the Arlington Twitter page, quote, "It felt like I was in the final scene of a motivational movie," end quote. Moving on, senior Alan Inzuenza placed 6th at the CIF wrestling tournament at Santiago Canyon College on February 15th, 2014. A total of 32 schools competed. Spring sports began today, marked by the first baseball game of the season. In the area of academics, AP tests are now on sale for students. The final day for purchase is March 27th, 2014. A 20% increase in test sales is expected for this AP season. And today, the counseling department made available the computer lab for students to apply to Riverside Community College. This was a great opportunity for students to apply for college with the assistance of counselors. Chief among those helping were 12th grade counselors Mr. Cabrera and Ms. Lackett. Last week, Arlington sophomores registered online for the 2014-2015 school year in the RUSD pilot program. And lastly, by the request of Mr. Tom Hunt, I have prepared a brief summary of the topics discussed at the LCAT meeting. After a community meeting, Arlington ASB students discussed, confirmed, and provided examples in regards to the issues raised at the meeting the night prior. Among the strongest requests of the parents, students, and community members was the necessity for a well-informed and accessible counseling department. Other issues included the need for electives that can be applied to the real world, such as auto shop and a basic computer skills course. Also, it was generally accepted that RUSD should partner with both the public and private sector, where students may have available to them the opportunity to find a possible career interest prior to their freshman year in college. For example, a high school student could be submerged in a realistic business environment at a local company where they could discover an interest or perhaps find that they should not pursue that business degree. Any questions?
That's a lot to cover. Now I could tell you were getting out of breath. Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Garrett, for summarizing that as we talked about. When is Lion Pride Night? You know what night it is?
It's a event that's
No, but when is it?
Oh, when is it? April 20th, I want to say.
Let us know for sure. I know that
Okay.
we heard about it. Mrs. Alavi and I did at our student activities last year. We were very impressed, and I'd like to find out more about it. Let us know. Thank you. And y'all did you and your ASB cohorts did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Most of our high schools, all our high schools did, but Arlington was exceptional. So thank you.
Thank you.
The work you put into that.
I heard you guys did a good job. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Garrett? Okay, all right. Thank you guys, and you know the drill. You're welcome to stay or leave. So thank you so much. We appreciate your service. Next item on the agenda is our portion where we receive public input for items not on the agenda. I have not received any cards, I don't think, so I think we do not have any public input for items not on the agenda. So we're going to move on to Section C. That is the Superintendent's announcements and report. Mr. Fine.
Thank you, Mrs. Lockdawson, and members of the board. Good evening. Just a couple things to reflect on. First is on this past Friday night, Mr. Lee and I had the pleasure of attending the kind of thank you and recognition sponsored by our partners at the Chamber and the City and RCC and Alvord for completion counts. As the board will recall, this was a 3-year grant from the Gates Foundation that concluded in December. And it was just really an opportunity to celebrate the 4 professional learning communities that were assembled across our 3 institutions, RCC, Alvord, and RUSD, in the area of English language arts, in the area of math, in the area of counseling, and in the area of data teams. And so it was a great opportunity to kind of say thank you to our faculties that put together what we now have is two cohort of students working their way through RCC under the guaranteed admissions and guaranteed priority registration and guaranteed completion, really, and then also to renew our commitment as partners to continue that endeavor on our own still working together, but obviously without the grant behind it. And so it was just a good evening of celebration. I also want to, and certainly very consistent with even comments that Garrett just made in reporting out, both Alvord and RUSD and Riverside County Office of Ed and the Chamber have gotten together to talk about how the Chamber can help support our students by way of internship programs. And so this is, we envision starting this with our academy students as a small enough group that we can kind of put our arms around. Plus, academies have very specific industry connections, and the Chamber envisions starting that with their various business councils as far as matching up to the schools. And we already have some of that going on informally, but this would be to formalize that process and to build upon it over the next couple of years. Very similar to the conversation that was had a decade ago where the Chamber said, what can we do to help? And they took on the College Career Fair that we now know in the early October timeframe that has expanded to almost not having home, a place big enough to hold it. And so this was kind of that renewed conversation about what is it that the Chamber can help do for our educational programs. Coming up on your agenda, and I know you're all in tune to this and sensitive to it, on your personnel register is really an acknowledgement of roughly 30 retirees who have turned in paperwork already for this coming June, and a lot of very familiar names there. We will honor them all at our upcoming employee awards program, but there are hundreds of years of experience represented in that list of names. I mean, I see Mr. Lawrence out there, just probably 100 years with just Mark alone, no less. Everybody else, I know you feel like it, Mark. But certainly want to bring that to your attention this evening. And then lastly, I think all of us participated either Friday or this morning in Read Across America. Mrs. Allaby and I had the pleasure of teaming up at Twain Elementary School, and just a great opportunity to be in the classrooms with kids and to read and to interact with them. And so next two items are actually to report out on subcommittees that have met since our last board meeting. The first would be the instructional subcommittee, and I know Mrs. Cloud would like to report on it.
Mr. Lee and I are members of that subcommittee, and we did meet on February 18th. It's always a full meeting. Later on in the agenda, in the consent calendar, you will find that the single plans for student achievement is included, routine item that takes place every year. The programs of choice, there was a report from not STEM, but dual language immersion and core knowledge, which is always very interesting. As you probably all are aware, but I don't know if parents are aware, that window of applying for those schools is right now until March 28th, I believe. The schools of residents and siblings for these programs are the priority, which is something we worked out last year. And there is a little bit of opening for some of those schools, which was a problem this year. But the popularity has overtaken us, but that's a good thing. And just so the other members of the board knows, we had an update on the transitional kindergarten. Staff is looking at a 2-year curriculum, so there's no repetition, which of course we need to do. And the final thing we need to be looking at is the elementary report card revisions. We are, again, reviewing report cards to bring them into line K-6 with Common Core expectations and standards. So as more information, as more revisions get posted, I'm sure we'll hear more about that. So just so you know. I don't know if Mr. Lee wants to add anything.
I think you covered it. Thanks.
And then my final item is to ask Mr. Hunt to report out on Friday's operations subcommittee.
Thank you, Interim Superintendent Fine and Mrs. Allaby's participation. The staff did an excellent job of preparing the committee, and for several items that couple of them we've asked that they would bring before you in the future. One of them, really, we've talked a little bit about this, is just a report on the status of our maintenance efforts, our ongoing obligation to maintenance and continuing renewal. And I'm sure I'll get this wrong, Orrin, but I believe you said that the average age of our campus is around 40 years? Built in 66. That's when I do my math, 40 years. Okay. So we actually are in a much older district. That Corona Norco was a good 20 plus years ahead of us in that. And so we do have, it's just, if you have an older home, Mrs. Allaby, or Mrs. Cloud, come to think of it, you know there's a lot more maintenance you have to think about. And we have that. And I think that you'll be impressed when that comes before the board as if you would allow it, Mrs. Lockdawson, as a kind of a workshop to show the commitment we need to make as a board to continuing that, and always have that in our minds as we work on budgets, and to see what our staff is doing. There'll also be some recommendations that Dr. Lewis and Mr. Fine and Orrin will bring forward about some positions for us to consider as we begin to rebuild back a lot that we had to dismantle the last 6 years or so. And they're all well thought out. I think we found out some of them help pay for themselves with the energy ed specialist. We talked about a few other things. We did focus, as you asked us to, on the Measure B money and what is left. And I think Dr. Lewis has done an excellent job reporting that to you in your minutes. We don't tend to bring anything else. Maybe some baseball things at Arlington we've talked a little about. But otherwise, we're going to wait to get those numbers back from the state, which on Ramona, which we expect to be in June, I believe is correct at the latest. Probably the most pressing item that we focused on and will bring forward to you for a board item to discuss, debate, and approve would be to move to a general obligation bond, which would be the replacement of B. In fact, it will go on beyond what B would do. And that would be for November of 15, which essentially is about 18, 17 months from now. What the staff will be bringing forward to you, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Lewis or Mr. Fine, is some RFPs to consider. One will be an RFP for sort of the design team that will help us, along with principals and school site committees, and you yourselves as now area trustees, as to what's needed at Campus X and Campus Y. But also, we found out we don't want to repeat some of the mistakes of last time where we had some inequities. And a good example this board remember is, we had $10 million scheduled for, high school X for their play fields, and we had 1.2 for Arlington. I think some of that but naturally there's several things we can go into detail more when that comes before you, but the other RFP would be to pick the consultant that will help us run the campaign. There are some changes in state law that are going to make it more difficult for raising the funds to put that campaign on, and those will be discussed with you, but we as a committee feel pretty strong and we're with our staff that it's doable and it should be done in November of 15. Just assuming for a moment, there are 3 of us who are up for re-election in November of 15. Most studies show that it doesn't hurt to be up for re-election when there's a ballot initiative up like this, and obviously unless we don't stand behind it, it's something you'd want, a major item you would stand behind anyhow as part of your campaign, or anyone that wants to run would be discussing that because it's important going forward. But I also want to just again commend the staff on some excellent work they've done, and I think well researched. And if there's any other questions on their agenda, but otherwise, Mrs. Allaby?
No, thank you. You've covered that. Okay. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Mr. Fine, did you have anything else to add to your report? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to our Section D, District Employee Group Reports. I think it's Mr. Martin's turn to talk to us about what's going on with the Riverside City Teachers Association. Welcome, Mr. Martin.
Thank you. Good evening, President Lockdawson, Mr. Fine, and members of the board. During the week of March 17th through March 21st, RCTA will be conducting a ratification vote on the tentative agreement to Article 10, hours of employment, and Article 12, class size, as well as a memorandum of understanding on professional development days for the 2014-2015 school year. This TA is an important one. At first glance, the various elements of the TA may seem separate and unrelated, but they are not. Together, they weave a professional and thoughtful response to some of the challenges of implementing Common Core next year and making it work better in the following years. As we prepare for Common Core and the implications it has for learning and instruction, the changes proposed in the hours of employment article and the class size article to address special education caseload, as well as the MOU, will benefit our students and support their teachers. First, by extending the teacher's professional day 15 minutes next school year and 15 more the following school year, teachers will be given more time to plan lessons and assess their students' learning. This additional time will be helpful to teachers as they adapt their individual instructional program in response to Common Core. Second, by adopting a district-wide staff collaboration time, teachers at every school site will be given additional support to meet their collective professional responsibilities associated with Common Core. This district-wide uniform planning time will be beneficial to teachers by providing them with regular time designed by teachers to collaborate at grade level or with their team or department. The MOU on 2 professional development days for next school year is important because it will help lead district-wide implementation of Common Core in a uniform and consistent manner. Special education students and teachers should be helped in 2 ways by this tentative agreement. Increasing support for many special education teachers to meet their professional responsibilities associated with IEPs, combined with a more clearly defined response and support for large caseloads, should be helpful to both teacher and student as each adjusts to the impact of Common Core in instruction and learning as addressed in IEPs. In my opinion, each of these changes proposed in the TA work together for the good of our students and the support of our teachers. This tentative agreement is also important because of what it says about the relationship between the association and management as we deal with today's issues and what it may mean about how we work together in the years ahead. It is an example of how teachers and managers can work together in a professional and cooperative manner to find common ground for the good of our students. At the bargaining table and at the Common Core Steering Committee, there was compromise, professional and respectful treatment, and agreement on some creative, innovative, and outside-the-box responses to be supportive of teachers as we make very substantial changes to the instructional program. In today's educational and political environment, this is no small thing. The years to come will bring both opportunities and challenges. I would like to think our district's designation of District of Choice will resonate more and more with the public because of the quality instructional program offered to our students, like core knowledge, how we recruit, support, and retain excellent teachers, and the relationship between the district and the Teachers Association that allows for some pretty unique and thought-filled responses to the issues that lie before us. This tentative agreement should give us all reason for optimism as we consider how to serve our students next year and in those to follow. Thank you for this time. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We appreciate that. It's certainly nice to have been coming out of a some dark times with some positive things ahead. So we
It is
appreciate it.
nice.
Okay, thanks.
Like the tie.
Thank you.
Moving on to our consent portion of our agenda. Mr. Hunt?
I move to accept the consent calendar as presented by staff's report.
I second that motion with thanks and some sadness for all the retirements and changes on the consent calendar. There's familiar names.
Well, I just went out the door before we voted on it. Those Eldon were in.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept the consent calendar. Please vote. That item carries unanimously. Moving on to the, are we an action item? Let's see, no, we're reports, discussions. So we are going to talk a little bit about the STEM ad hoc committee. And I think is that Mrs. Alavi, or who's going to speak to that? So this is a brief report on our, on one of the items we had last meeting that came up, and it was sort of a follow-up to that action item on the STEM Vision Ad Hoc Committee.
Mrs. Alvey and I will team teach this item.
Sounds good.
How's that?
Eager to hear it.
Really, our commitment to you after the last conversation at the board was to come back. What was first to go off and act, and that was to fulfill the board's direction to assemble an ad hoc committee to look at the vision, and then to come back and report on that. And that's really what tonight's report is to let you know that with Mrs. Alvey's leadership, in fact, she and Mrs. Locke-Dawson and I and Dr. Lewis met and started that process, and then in working with Principal Dale Moore and contacts at UCR and others, we were able to assemble a committee that is outlined in your agenda, including some meeting dates. And the vision is that we will do just what we committed to last time, and that is meet, we believe, roughly 4 times with quite a bit of homework in between those meetings, and come back to you in the June time frame with a solid recommendation on kind of the vision. We anticipate that from that, then we will spend the summer months taking your direction from June on that vision and working out really some details, which may be how do we go about accomplishing that vision specifically with regard to maybe some fine-tuning of facility options. But our real focus is to start at square one with respect to the instructional program, ensure there's complete buy-in to some of the work that's already been done and thought through by Mr. Moore and Dr. Ermert and others with regard to instruction, and then model, or not model, but in essence put together the structure around that to support that vision, and be well on our way, I think, by the end of summer to a focused solution for the future of STEM and off implementing it.
Yep. And I'll just add to that we put a lot of thought into who would be a part of the ad hoc committee, and you can see that we tried very hard to get all the constituencies in here. We have principals, we have teachers, we have parents, we have UCR represented, we have RCC represented, we've got all sorts of very talented people. We added our architect in there to give us a little bit of specific knowledge. So I think it's a really good committee, and I think they're going to come up with the answers that we need. So, any questions?
Mrs. Cloud?
I have just a couple brief ones. I don't want to belabor this, but I was looking at, I did get a request from a couple of parents that were interested to be on the committee, which I passed along, and I understand that, the committee has been chosen, but if for some reason you need a broader committee, I think it's good. A lot of these are very familiar names to us, but I also think it's a good idea to get some names that probably are not so familiar to broaden the pool. Just soon.
I left the job of nominating the parents to Mr. Moore.
Right, I understand, and it's not a criticism.
No, I know, but I had a feeling that he would know best how to deal with parents.
And the other thing I was going to ask, just for our own personal information, after the committee meets and everything, because it does especially involve instruction and facilities, will it go back to the subcommittees, or how are you envisioning that?
I think our vision is to get it back here and get your clear understanding and buy-in to the direction we're headed, and then wherever you direct us for it to go for that fine-tuning along the way, that's what we'll do. It may even be that this is a committee that takes it, even those next steps, or at least kind of provides some oversight to that.
Yeah.
So we'll be back in June, and I think have a lot of information from our thought partners that we've put together here to share with you, and then whatever direction the board has, we'll be glad to do. And Mrs. Cloud, to your other point, Mrs. Alvey, I talked about this. This isn't really a committee of the board, so this will function under the Brown Act. However, we've already talked. All these meetings are being held at STEM, all at the same time of day. We're publicizing the actual calendar of meetings. They will be open meetings. We certainly invite anybody to come in. We won't set aside a time for public comment per se, but there will also be quite a bit of homework that needs to be done, and I think some of these committee members, in doing their in-between meeting assignments, will need to reach out to some others, and so I think there'll be plenty of opportunity for others to engage in
Well,
this.
I will post some of that. That's just good information to know, and I appreciate that. I'm glad we're getting it started. Congratulations. No criticism whatsoever. I think that's good, and I think that's probably a good thing to come back to the full board, and then if whatever we need to do to fine-tune it. So I appreciate your hard work.
I will say, too, I know what's not in this brief report, but this agenda item, I know Mrs. Alvey really gave a lot of thought to decision points at the various meetings and what the construct of each of the meetings will be that will lead to those decision points. So I do think while it's not outlined here, we do have a real logic model that we're following as to get us to where we want to be. So is that fair to say?
I would say so, yes.
Okay.
Hopefully this will
I know it was some sleepless nights.
go smoothly.
Okay. Mr. Lee?
So I see that there's some costs involved for consultants and some of these people that we have to pay to show up at our meeting. Is there going to be somebody when you say consultant, is that the person who's going to help guide you, Kathy, in terms of just taking all the information together and creating some kind of a plan, like a strategic planning session or somebody like that?
Well, I believe that Dr. Lewis was connecting with someone in the community who is a STEM consultant. Is that true, Dr. Lewis? And so I don't have that particular information to give to you tonight, but I can give you some follow-up information on that.
So, Mr. Lee, I think just a tad more detail with respect to the architect that we included in here, who has a lot of experience in just helping groups set vision and doing some overall planning as opposed to very traditional architect work, because that's not the stage we're at. That work will probably be on an hourly basis. However, if we ultimately need architectural work, and that's the firm chosen, we can also look at that time simply being incorporated in their overall fee. So we'll look at that, but we certainly wanted to make you aware as a board that we would expend some costs. There are some STEM consultants out there. I've received the name over the weekend of 2. Both are educators here in Riverside County, and so they may also be available to us depending on their flexibility to leave their own campuses where they have started STEM programs, but both were highly recommended, and we may have some minor costs to support their work with the committee as well.
And just one last thing. I just asked that if staff, when they're taking notes at these meetings, if they could just email the board what's going on at these meetings so we get all on the same page. Thanks.
Sure, that would be great.
Okay, thank you. Moving along on our agenda, we do have an action item on tonight's agenda. It's a resolution of the board to approve the reduction or discontinuance of particular kinds of certificated services. We usually do this annually, and I will let, do you need to speak before Mrs.?
Good evening. Board approval is requested in the matter of the reduction or discontinuance of certain particular kinds of service for the 2013-2014 school year. So in summary, as preparation of this agenda item, it was based on information that individual school sites had provided about their planned use of their local budget resources next year, and there will be March 15th notice impacts for 0.6 in Chinese, so our total impact is 0.6 FTE certificated staff.
Okay, you have a question, a couple questions. Mr. Hunt?
Actually, when you're prepared, I would make a motion to approve item G1 when you're prepared.
Okay. Mrs. Cloud?
I was going to do the same thing and just comment briefly that this is certainly a change from the last few years and a positive one. So I would second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept or adopt a resolution. Action item G1, please vote. Okay, that motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Mills. We are not at the end of our board meeting, are we?
Let's play two, like Ernie Banks used to say.
Just remember there's a bonus to staff if you end before 7.
How did that happen? Okay, we have come to the conclusion of our board meeting, and we are going to take board members' comments. Mr. Hunt, would you like to go first?
Sure. The reason I didn't comment, I was going to, Mrs. Allaby and Mrs. Lock-Dawson, you're going to have a challenge, I think, on two fronts with your committee. One's going to be, as Assistant Superintendent Paredes points out in her report tonight on the consent calendar, we still need a mission statement for this school. And I think as we grow and we have that vision, which undoubtedly is going to be a vision that's going to have to be funded by our fellow citizens, you're going to need a good sales pitch as to what STEM's all about. Why are we doing STEM? So everyone understands it, even those that don't have children in it or never will have children. But what is the benefit of this particular investment to our community? And I know you, Kathy, you and I have talked many times that we feel that the UCs and the SCs and all that we're underrepresented. And like I say, I didn't know I came from a hick town until I went to UCLA and they told me. So we need to do everything we can to burnish what Riverside's doing, and I think the last several years and have done that. Part of that last several, and the other problem, the other challenge you're going to have is as always, and it's a challenge I have on facilities, not to get ahead of the rest of the board, as Mrs. Cloud was indicating. But I'm looking forward to your report, and I think it'll be very inventive. I encourage you to get all the outside help that the pros from Dover that we can. I don't want to miss what Mr. Martin said, that it is no small thing. And I think one of the real achievements of this district, when you compare to those around us, and with no ill intent to any of them, but really the things that we're able to now to be focusing on is because we've had such, and I see Mark out there as well, such good leadership of our employee unions and the relations, I think, with Mr. Fine and Mrs. Meekins and Dr. Miller before that, and Mrs. Mills have been a great service to this district, that we're talking together collaboratively about the education of young people and not so much about, a lot of things you hear in other districts, union woes and administrative this and all of that. So I did read it Lake Matthews tonight and this morning, and it was just an excellent, wonderful turnout of parents that were there and volunteers in that remote little outpost of ours and the edge of our district. I'm going to also ask, as far as items, I would like to ask the instruction committee to begin to discuss a core knowledge campus on, I think that's the western end of our district, so I'll just use that. But anything on that side of Van Buren, but that we could begin to have some diversity over there of choice as we become a district of choice. But very impressed with Ms. Williams, and if you have a chance to get out there to that campus. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Mrs. Allaby?
Thank you, and I also want to thank Mr. Martin for his wise words, and I'm very, very encouraged by the kind of interaction that's going on between the the union and the board. I think it's very positive. I feel very good about where we are and where we're going. And I only wish that Dana Straley had been able to be here, but if you've noticed, she's not being able to come to meetings anymore. And I think that's a real sadness for our district that we don't have that kind of press coverage that we used to have. I think that is also a big deal. Because when it comes to getting the word out to the community so that they understand this, it also takes a little, it takes some wise words to do that. So I'm very sorry that she isn't here to hear Mr. Martin say all those nice things.
Thank you, Mrs. Alvey. Mr. Lee?
Nothing from me today.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Cloud?
Just a couple of observations. I was sitting here thinking about what I see on Facebook, and you know, half of my Facebook posts are from district schools or RUSD, or I guess I have too many friends. But you know, it really is good that we're using the social media, and I do find out what's going on. And with that, I want to give a shout out to the Poly mock trial, when the county regional champions. And for North High School, for their sports team. I want to thank Dr. Ermert for including that study about extracurricular activities and arts. And with that, I realized that I misspoke last time when I said that Bryant had a display at the Art Museum. It's not at the Art Museum proper. It's at, what is it called? It's on Lemon. It's a storefront. And they took several of Bryant's displays. We went over to see them, but they were at a funeral. So, but we could see it from the storefront because I'm sure it's staffed by volunteers. It's Riverside Arts something.
Oh, the Life Arts building, or is it?
Yeah. Maybe it is, but that's just a note that it's getting out into the community. And as Mrs. Alvey and I saw in Ventura County, some of the arts were at the Ventura County Fair and out in the community, and so it's exciting to see. And last but not least, well, we've missed out on a lot of meetings, like this RCSBA meeting last week and some other things because of all of our meetings. We've been having a lot of meetings here, and productive, I hope. And I guess this is really the last thing, is the Read America, what is it?
Read Across.
Read Across. That the across left my mind. But I was at Bryant because it was handy, and I have two very special reasons to go there. And Mr. Gardner and several policemen were there, and I'm just so glad it's so well supported from the community. And that's where you really see, when you go out in the classrooms, how much it really is about the kids, and it's a good reminder to us up here. As you said, actually, it is about what's going on in those classrooms. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cloud. I really don't have much of anything other than to say that I really hope staff and certificated, classified everybody and everybody downtown has really noticed the sort of renaissance that has occurred within the district since we started down our LCAP. I mean, has anybody here noticed that? Has anybody noticed that there's a real eagerness within the public to share and speak? I've never been to public meetings before where there have been so many people that show up. People in this community care about public education, and it's really, as a parent and as a community member, really it buoys me up to know that we have such a community that cares so much. So I want to thank everybody that's worked so hard to make that a success. And I know that we have a very model program that other districts are looking at. Santa Ana Unified, I know they're looking at it. But I know we've done a very good job, and I think we have Mr. Fine to thank for that as well. So I would like to keep up our outreach and our dialogue going with the community, and I would like to keep up the innovation and the thinking outside the box that we've seen within our own staff and teachers too. So please, please, please keep that coming. We really appreciate that. Thank you. I don't think we have anybody to close our meeting in memory of tonight, do we? No, we don't. Wow. Okay. Do we have any agenda items that we need to bring up for future meetings that you want to discuss?
We have the one Mr. Hatt suggested.
Oh, the core knowledge. Okay.
And
That's
I
good.
also asked that, I guess Mr. Warren Williams' report will take care. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.